So what's up, everybody? This is BSP. It's hot as shit in Japan right now. It's hot, man. I mean, it's September 9th here, and I'm looking at my car, and outside it's about 31 degrees. Tokyo side, probably looking at 34. It depends where you're at in the country, but a lot of different, variations. Usually only like a no more than a 5 degree difference, unless you're talking Hokkaido. Hokkaido could sometimes be 10 degrees cooler than here. I know that's how it was when we were up there this summer. Hokkaido was a lot cooler, and it was in sweltering heat down. Anything like south of Hokkaido was sweltering heat, like 35, 36 degrees Celsius. It was pretty hot. 38 degrees, you're talking 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So usually when you get like around 32, you're like 88, almost 89 degrees. So still in September. This is crazy, and they're talking back in July when this really started getting really hot. They were saying that the heat's gonna hang around until October, and I'm hoping that's the beginning of October. But I know last year that's how it was. Once October hit, it started to cool down. You might have some spikes here and there in places, but for the most part, it started cooling down, and especially out where we live on the Sea of Japan. So, today I'm talking about this. I started this off talking about climate or the temperature and everything because, I'm going to tell you when's a good time to visit Japan. I know that I focus mostly on people that want to live in Japan or that are living in Japan, but I also want to give some love to people that are visiting Japan because most of the foreigners that we see over here walking around are tourists. They're not living here, they're visiting. And Japan, it seems like people just keep coming and coming and coming, and it's not stopping, it's not slowing down. You just see more and more people. Now, it's not like that all over the country. If you're going to go to Tokyo area, Tokyo, you're going to see a lot of tourists. Kyoto, a lot of tourists in Kyoto. You'll get those tourists that I want to go here because I know not that many people go there. And they get there like Kamakura, like, oh, damn, there's a lot of people in Kamakura. Streets are crowded. Vendors, and a lot of the Japanese vendors are saying, we don't even see that many Japanese right now because there's just so many foreigners over, so many tourists in Japan. But not everywhere is like that. You can go to a beach in Okinawa and just chill, and you won't hardly see anybody. I go places in Niigata Prefecture or other places that I don't see that many tourists at all. In fact, I was just up in a place in Niigata Prefecture, and we stayed at an onsen overnight, and woke up the next morning. I mean, when we checked in, I didn't see any other tourists, any other foreigner but myself and my kids. That was it. So I like to frequent those kind of places. But everybody has their own different taste. So when is a good time to visit Japan? Well, obviously summertime is not, unless you're a summer person. I wouldn't recommend coming here in this heat. It's just unbearably hot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you are the kind of person that want to walk around, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to want to walk and visit the tourist attractions and go to the Asakusa, Shibuya, and Tokyo if you're there, or Kyoto. You want to go to, Fushimi Inari or Kiyomizu-dera, these kind of places, Yasaka Jinja, these kind of places. So you're going to try to walk around, and then you're going to be out there in the middle of that heat. And it's going to be hot as shit, okay? Literally from the time you get here, like late June, depending on how the rainy season going to fall, till like they're saying October, you're going to be burning up. So and these are long-ass months, too. July is a long-ass month, 31 months. August, 31. That's 62 days right there. In September, 30. That's 92 days already, not including if I just add on another 15 days of June. Then you're going over to like 107 days already, and then October can get kind of sneaky on you because it can go 15 days deep in October. So let's just, with 107 you add on, that's on average you add 10 days. That's 117 days that you could be in the 30s. Yeah, but the good news about October and supposedly like late September, around there, last week September, is at night and in the morning it doesn't get as high. It starts to cool down. But in the middle of the hot months like July, August, and most of September, even at night, your ass is like, damn, it's hot at night. Now, where we are in the Sea of Japan side, I'm noticing that the nights are cooling down. We're getting now in, like, say, the mid-20s which is nice. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, it might be around 23. I'm noticing that next week, I know it's going to be even cooler. This is based off of my information from last year, living on this side of the country for the first time in my life. So I'm just trying to get myself acclimated to this part of the country weather-wise. So, I'll know probably in another couple years, what the trend is, and really give you more information on when's the best time to visit where I'm at in my area. But nationwide, if you're going to come in the summertime, then I highly recommend you go to Hokkaido. Hokkaido is the second largest island in the island chains. Of course, Honshu being the largest and most populated of the islands here in Japan. But Hokkaido is the second largest, and it's a lot of open space spread out. You got beautiful cities up there like Sapporo, Asahikawa, Hakodate is amazing. And that's the $1 million view that you'll see. We took a picture. We went up. We took a ride up the mountain, and then at night it's just, you can see the whole city. It's just from Mount Hakodate. It's just beautiful, all the lights, and you can see water on both sides. It's just magical when you're up there in Hakodate. Sapporo's a lovely city. A lot of things going on in Sapporo. There's almost 2 million people in that city. You got Asahikawa, which has a lot going on. You have other places. I just named a few of the most populated areas in Hokkaido, but you have all kind of areas in Hokkaido. So I would recommend, if you have to come in the summertime, I recommend Hokkaido. Yeah, because that's going to be your best bet. Summertime, I would stay away from the big cities like Tokyo and all the highly populated areas. I would stay away from all that because there's a lot of people, a lot of heat. When you get on the train, especially for example, when you're waiting to get on the Yamanote, the loop line around Tokyo, you're waiting on a platform outside. It's hot, muggy. It's crazy uncomfortable while you're waiting for the train. And then you get on the train and it's air conditioning. But then what you got to hope for is when you get on the train, don't get on during rush hour traffic, because it's going to be packed with people, packed with more hot bodies. It's just an uncomfortable experience for anybody. So first thing I want to say is, when you do come to Japan, don't take public transportation during rush hour. Set it up to where you can go around, if you're going to go out in the morning, go around 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you don't have to refrain from going out, but I'm just saying, if you're going to ride public transportation, then you should, ride it between the hours of 10 and say 2 o'clock, no later than 2:30 to avoid the crowds. And then when you want to get back on it, just get back on it after 8 o'clock at night. It'll be fine. So you just have to know when to avoid the rush hour traffic. Rush hour is pretty much the same as it is in the U.S. The same, if you're familiar with that setup. Europe, I think pretty much rush hour is pretty similar around the world in most developed nations. So just beware of that. If you're speaking of public transportation, if you're going to go to Kyoto sucks. Kyoto sucks. Their public transportation sucks. Okay, I love Kyoto, but Kyoto's public transportation sucks. And the problem that they have in Kyoto is they say, well, we got so many tourists, and tourists are not they're not acting right. Well, look, not every tourist is going to be good, but most of the tourists that come here are respectable of Japan because they know and they love Japan. That's why they're here in Japan. Yeah, you get some idiots out there throwing trash all over the place, wanting to be loud and boisterous and disrespecting the people. But that's very rare. It really is very rare. No matter what they put on the YouTube to get their clicks up, it's rare that you see an ignorant-ass tourist out there act like a fucking idiot. All right? So, but what I'm talking about, Kyoto, is, see, I lived in Osaka 3.5 years. So I know that area. I used to go all over the place. And when I was living there, of course, we didn't have all these problems. But now you do. And the worst thing you could do in Kyoto is take the bus somewhere. Buses are overly crowded. I mean, going from, say, Kyoto Station, if you want to go to Kiyomizu-dera, you got to take the bus, right? Now, Kyoto does have a couple subway lines. And they got the JR lines going through. And they got the Keihan line going through. And they got the Hankyu line going through from Osaka too. Usually Hankyu, Keihan, they're going in and out of the city, right? And so here's the thing. And then you got the, of course, the Thunderbird, Kyoto and Osaka also. And then Kyoto to Suruga and other places. And of course, you got the Shinkansen going between Kyoto and the next stop, Shinosaka, and before that, Nagoya, things like that. But those trains I all mentioned, they don't take you anywhere near the famous sites. Now, Hankyu Kawadamachi, if you're coming from Osaka, get off at Hankyu Kawadamachi, which is the terminus in Kyoto. For Hankyu, you can walk the Yasaka Ginger from Kawadamachi. You can go to Pontoncho from Kawadamachi area. You have quite a bit of play. If you like to walk, you can even walk the Heian Jingu from Kawadamachi. And if you really want to get freaky with the walk, you can even walk all the way up to Nanzenji and then walk all the way on Philosopher's Road up to Ginkakuji. Okay? So those are things that you can do. But I'm just telling you all this because the subways, the buses will go, but the subways that you're accustomed to taking in Tokyo or everywhere in Osaka, it doesn't work that way in Kyoto. They didn't plan that shit well. And they rely on the buses. Your bus is going to be packed. Taxis going to be packed. You're going to be waiting in lines for a long time to get a ride somewhere. So I just wanted to bring that up because I was talking about transportation. So now, as far as when to visit, so I already told you that the summertime, I don't recommend you coming here in the summer unless you go up like the Hokkaido area. Now, every other season in here is nice. Now, wintertime can be a little tricky depending on where you're at. Where we live on the Sea of Japan side, going with the Tohoku, Aomori, Hokkaido, we get a lot of snow. We get a lot of snow. Some years we don't. Like last year, they said we didn't get as much. We got, to me, it was a lot because that Josetsuki, which is that big snowplow truck driver, they came around my neighborhood about 3 or 4 times. The way that works, and I'm sure that people are going to laugh, people that are living in these areas, they're going to laugh and recognize it. When it snows, you're sleeping, right? You get the schedule. Japanese are so good at giving you the weather report. I got weather apps. You got the news telling you, hey, man, it's going to snow tomorrow. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to be hot tomorrow. They're very good. They seem to be spot on. Way spot on than they were in the States. Because sometimes you be waiting for that shit to happen and it don't come up. But over here, it's like, if they say it's raining tomorrow, it's raining. Oh, you got a 60% chance of rain, it's raining. You got an 80% chance of snow, it's snowing. Okay? But what I'm trying to get at here is, but when it snows, you don't know how much snow you're going to get. But when you hear that Josetsuki driving down your street, pushing that snow off to the side, and at the end of the street, pushing it out of the way, then that means you got a shitload of snow. That means you going to be needing to shovel some shit. So that happened to us, I would say this past winter, about 4 times. 4 times. It snowed more than that, of course, but it wasn't enough to where you needed to get the Josetsuki pushing all the snow off to the side. But so here's what happens, though. When you, in front of everybody's house, they might have a driveway or they might walkway or whatever the case may be. But when you wake up in the morning, and like when I went downstairs, every time that Josetsuki come, I was like, oh shit, I got to shovel. And I love shoveling snow. I got no problem shoveling, but I'm just saying that's what happens. So I go downstairs, open my door, and my driveway is already deep in snow. And so what they do here in the Niigata side, I'm sure Nagano and everywhere up the coast has it too, all the heavy snow areas, is most of the houses, they put this flat hose with holes in it connected to an outside pipe. Then you turn the water on. You can literally turn it on by switching the flip on your power box in your house. And the little strings of water comes out of each one of these holes. And what that does is that melts the snow. And you let it run for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then you'll see your driveway pretty much like ready. The snow is turning to slush. And then you just push it all out the way up to the side so you can get your car in and out of there and you're good. And then also in the front, all along the side of the houses, in front of the houses on the street, they have these grates and they have these gutters. And a lot of the gutters, you got they got grates on them, top of them. Sometimes you'll see them like just cement with little, or concrete with little slits in them. And then you'll see like a grate, and then you'll see more concrete with slits. But what you're supposed to do with that is you shovel your snow and you push it into the gutter. And just the note on the snow shoveling, I know a lot of you tourists ain't got to worry about this shit. But when I shovel snow, because I'm from Philly, we used to get a lot of snow in Philly too when I was growing up. The secret is you get one of those, what they call a snow dumper. You don't need to shovel most of the time. You need the snow dumper where you can slide it. It's like you put on both hands, you pushing it, and you push the snow, and you never clear the snow altogether. Don't let the street get bare that you're pushing the snow on. Just leave that film, about an inch worth of film, like slush, that you can slide that shovel and that dumper with snow in it all over that. And in our neighborhood, at the end, there's a rice field, and there's usually gutters, a lot of big water areas where it flow to the rice fields. I just go like this and go woof, and then I push back, and the snow flies off into that water, and then I just go back up. It's like skiing or ice skating on top of some nice ice slush, not ice slush, and then you just use that slush to glide yourself, and you're not even really working. You're not pushing, you're not lifting nothing, because you don't want to lift on the snow. But that's just a side note. I just want to talk about that, mention that. So, like I said, so sometimes in the winter times, it could get brutal. You could get stuck in places, and I give you an example. That's why I'm saying the winter's good to visit, but you gotta take that with caution. Use caution when you come in the wintertime. Tokyo gonna be fine. Anything on the Tokyo side, Yokohama, Kyoto, even though Kyoto will get some snow. Osaka, Wakayama, those places, Fukuoka, Kyushu anywhere is good in the wintertime because they don't get that much snow in Kyushu. You should be pretty much okay. When you look at the map of Japan, and you'll see the Japanese Alps in the middle of the country, right? Japan is 75% mountain, right? We can only use 25% of our land here. But those big mountains, they really do make a difference, because you can be in Tokyo in the Shinkansen, right? And let's say you want to take the Shinkansen, because I've done this, from Tokyo to Niigata, which is about a 2-hour and 20-minute Shinkansen ride, right? So you coming through, you going up through the path, Tokyo, of course, Ueno Station. Then you're going to get to Omiya. Then you're going to get to Takasaki. Then you're going to get into the Nagano parts, through Karuizawa, Sakudaira. And then, boom, you're at Nagano Station, right? If you're taking the way coming my way. But if you're going toward Niigata City, if you're going to Niigata City, you're going to go through, you're not going to come through Nagano. You're going to be on the Joetsu Shinkansen. And you're going to go through this place called Echigo Yuzawa. You're going to be going through a long tunnel. It's going to be like nice on this side. You're like, oh yeah, I'm good. And when you get through that tunnel done, you're going to come out and shoosh, that snow is going to hit you all in the train. You're going to see all that snow on the side of the train. And you see these little things blowing water on the side of the train to keep the snow off. And you're going to be in total shock, like, oh shit. Because you're coming through those Alps. You're coming through the tunnel under some of those mountains there in the middle of the country. And then you're going to come out right onto some snow. And you're going to see snow all the way to Niigata. Going back reverse, you'll be like seeing snow. You'll be like, oh wow, this is great if you like snow like me. And then you'll go through the tunnel, and then you'll come out, wacha, and you're like, whoa, there's no more snow, right? And you'll end up in Takasaki somewhere. So that's how it is. So that's why when you're here, you just have to use caution because when we live in Joetsu City and our in-laws live up in Niigata City, and so we always use caution, because like last winter, we were going to go to spend the like we always do before. We were going to go up to Niigata City and stay there for a few days with our folks. And that didn't work out, because we kept getting these reports, oh man, it's going to be snow, and it did snow. And then everybody knows when the first of the year, the fucking earthquake hit us big time. We had that big earthquake hit us. And so that kind of shut everybody down. Everybody, oh fuck, I ain't going nowhere now, right? So, but that earthquakes happen all year round. But the snow part, you have to be careful, because it can hinder your movement. Even when you're on the Shinkansen, even when you're not, because most tourists that come over here don't drive. They're relying on the public transportation. So when you're on that transportation, the buses may slow down in the snow. You'll be out there freezing your ass off waiting to get on the bus, or the Shinkansens. Sometimes they might shut down because it's just too much snow. So I'm just saying, the winter's great to come here, but just use caution. The best 2 seasons to come to Japan are either in the spring or the autumn. And now, what I want to say about about the spring. I love the springtime. Those are 2 of my favorite seasons in Japan. I love the winter too, because I love the smell of that snow, the fresh snow in the air, and I love it. But of course the movement is a little bit restricted. But spring and autumn are my favorites, because in the springtime you see all the colors coming back out, and the leaves are starting to green again, and then you get the Sakura, right? Before those trees turn green, you get the Sakura. And in my city, we have a lot of Sakura, but we have the big Sakura festival where there's 4,000 trees in Takata Castle Park that are 4,000 cherry trees. And we also do the night, which is called Yozakura at night. And it's lit up really nice, vendors everywhere, but you still walk to a lot of places where there's no vendors. It's absolutely beautiful. It was like heaven. This is my first time experiencing that this year. And the weather is comfortable. It's like in the teens. It's not hot at all. It's just starting to warm up, but it's just nice and comfortable. You can wear like a nice jacket, and the sun's coming out, and you just feel so refreshed and so good. But what I want to say now, that's pretty much all over the country. Now, Hokkaido and Aomori going up to Tohoku will be a little colder than, say, where we're at Niigata and if you're in Tokyo. But still, the springtime is nice there. It's nice. It's nice. Don't worry about it. Yeah, the mornings are going to be cold. Even in the spring, yeah, the mornings are cold. The evenings will get cold, like late evenings. But you'll start to see that shrink. It start to get warmer and warmer and warmer. But it's still a nice feeling. Waking up in Japan in the springtime is just a beautiful feeling. So when you come here, though, keep in mind that everybody else going to be coming here with you, too. All these tourists want to see our Sakura here in Japan. They're all going to come over here. So you need to figure out where you want to go. You can see Sakura from Hokkaido to Okinawa because they start off in Okinawa in warmer climates, and you can see it work their way up to Kyushu, and then they start working with the Shikoku, Honshu, and all the way to Hokkaido. And we actually have a Sakura calendar out. You know, they will tell you when it's going to be fully blossomed, because that's when you want to see it. And I have to give you an idea. I'll give you an example. So we had our festival here, and our friends came out that first weekend in April because they were thinking that, okay, it's going to be fully blossomed. But it wasn't. It was just maybe about, like they were just starting to pop out a little bit, and they left. And the following week, it fully blossomed. Bam! It was beautiful. Everything just blew up. I did a lot of videos on my Tokyo 64 channel of it. You can see me walking around. It was absolutely beautiful. Everybody wants to come here during our Sakura. Everybody wants to see it. Now, here's how you handle that, though. To keep from going through what these guys went through when they missed out on the peaks. And then some people will come too late. What I recommend is this. When you visit Japan, if you want to see Sakura, you should come and stay for a month. Stay from March 25th, get here March 25th till about April 24th, somewhere there. March 25th to April 20th is good, somewhere around there. That way you will not miss it. You will see them growing on the trees, and then you will see the fully blossomed, and you'll be so happy. Now in Tokyo, it's packed to the gills. Because what they do is they go to the Ueno. Ueno's the big one. But there's a lot of areas viewing. Trust me, there's a lot of viewing areas in Japan of Sakura. You will not run out of viewing areas, trust me. But the popular ones like Ueno, people bring out their little sheets, and they got the company parties over under there. They get the spots early. You're not going to get a spot to sit down in the Ueno Park. Trust me, you won't get it. But you can still walk through everything and see the beauty and the nature of the Sakura. It's just so pleasant. And that's the reason why I tell people to stay here a little bit longer when the Sakura starts to drop, because it looks so beautiful when the wind blows and they're fluttering and they're coming off and falling on the ground, and the entire ground is pink with Sakura, and it's just a beautiful, it's just, I can't explain how beautiful that is. I cannot. I've seen Sakura, of course, when I was in Japan, when I lived in Japan before, but I didn't have time to really go out and see them all the time. And I've seen them in the States too, like where I lived in Washington State, Canada, you got Sakura. Nowhere like here, but the University of Washington and Seattle had a really nice Sakura thing. But in Japan, there's no comparison whatsoever. There's just no comparison whatsoever in Japan. None. It's just magical. You get to eat good food. The atmosphere is good. Nobody's gonna shoot you or beat you up or nothing. You're safe. It's secure. You're walking around. You're just like, oh my goodness. And then you look out. So if you got the right like setup, you look out and you see it out from your house or your apartment or whatever. You're like, oh man, it's so beautiful. So yeah, it's a wonderful time to visit. And then even after the Sakura go away, you can do a lot of good hiking out here. It's easy to walk around in the major cities. The cities are still cool, comfortable weather. Tokyo starts to go up there though. I noticed, like in May, the temperature starts to creep up in the 30s a little bit. So it can get kind of hot, but it's not humid in May. It's not. I was surprised because I had forgotten that May wasn't a humid month. So you can get that dry heat, but it's comfortable, so it still feels good. And then in June, of course, usually around the middle of June, we get the rainy season for a month. But this year we had rainy season start kind of late. But still, you get that rainy season. It'll pour down rain, and then after that, you get that mugginess. And then after the rainy season, it's just hot as shit, muggy in Japan for quite a bit. And then, so if you like spring, of course, I highly recommend coming in spring. But October, November, the autumn is nice too. Now, if you want to visit Japan in the autumn, I highly recommend you do this, like what I said in March. Come at, say, around October 30th, and then stay until November 25th or something. Or just come to the beginning, the 1st or 2nd of November, because you're going to take advantage of, you're going to be able to see the colors. You're going to be able to see the beautiful colors here in Japan. And trust me, those maples and all the deciduous trees turning colors is so pretty. Now, that also depends on how hot the summer was. Last year, we saw mountains of color, but it wasn't as vivid because it was so hot, because the leaves pretty much got burnt to shit in the summertime. So you have to check. So if you have a plan, like say to visit next year, check and see how the summer was. This summer, from what I'm gathering, was not as hot, but not like last summer. Last summer was hot as a bitch. It's way hot. So they're already saying that the rice crop is better this year than it was last year, because it wasn't as hot as it was last year, even though it was fucking hot. So make sure that when you come, you check how the summer was. If they had record-breaking heat like we had last summer, then the colors are not going to be as nice, and it won't be spot on. We do have calendars that says, hey, Kanazawa is this date going to be nice at Kenrokuen, or Tokyo at this date going to be nice, or Niigata City, whatever, Joy, it's going to be this nice. So you can get to see the dates of places that you want to visit and see when they're going to be really nice. Yes, you can see that. It's not guaranteed, though. That's the thing. It's not guaranteed. Because we went to Kanazawa, we waited. We scheduled. And we were in Kanazawa like the 3rd week in November. And we saw some colors, but it wasn't as vivid, and it wasn't like we thought it was going to be. So, but you will normally get nice colors in November. So that's when, if you want to see the colors, that's when you should come. And then keep in mind too, in Japan, every area is different. Like the Kanto region where Tokyo's at is different from the Kansai, different from, of course, where we live, the Aomori, of course, and everything like that. So it depends on where you go. You need to know what it's looking like wherever you plan on going in Japan. Okay? Now, if you like skiing and stuff like that, like I said, you can come out here. I know where we live, we have 9 ski resorts within 30 minutes from us. Something like 20 minutes. We just drive up to Miyoko and there's a ski resort. I can walk up from my house. I walk up the hill 10 minutes and there's a place to ski right there. So we got a lot of skiing. And what happens is a lot of ski tourists come out here at our Joyce Miyoko station. They get bussed up to Lotte Arai Resort and all these other ski areas, and they just have a good time, a blast, and they come back. That's okay if you want to travel here in the wintertime, because you have because these people out here are experienced drivers. We are all experienced and good in driving in the snow. Trust me, I can pat myself in the back because I drove pretty good in the snow. I mean, I remember it was like, because I've driven in the snow before in the States, but I remember it was snowing so bad. One time I was coming back from my son's indoor soccer practice, and we was coming home, and it was like all over the place, and it's like wipers on, and I loved it because I was like, yeah, this is what I like to be in. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I have a car and I have an all-wheel drive. This is an all-wheel drive, and so that was okay with me. So, but like I said, if you're gonna come here in the wintertime, do some skiing, public transportation can get you up there, but just be aware that if it gets really crazy, things could change. That's all I'm saying, is things could change. The spring and autumn, you ain't gotta worry about much at all. Typhoon season ends in October, so you ain't gonna worry about no typhoon season at all. So you're gonna be good. So, so when to visit Japan, the best time would be the spring and the autumn, and if you like winter sports, winter. So this is BSP. I just wanted to let y'all know what's going on with that. I can't myself wait until it starts to cool down because I love the cooler weather. Because I lived in Seattle all those years, and the weather was like cooler than a lot of places I've been. So I'll talk to you guys later. This is BSP.